They want light-skinned women. Like, even in the raps, they used to say that.
Ah, shit. Get your tea and your popcorn because we have hit yet another psychological jackpot. That's right. Instead of spending the time trying to save her fledgling music career, JT from the City Girls decides to talk about light skinned women. Notice how in this clip you've got two dark skinned women discussing light skinned women. Instead of discussing how they can uplift their own communities, instead of discussing all of JT's accomplishment, they decide to bow down and worship and discuss the almighty lightskins.
And I was even brainwashed. Even when you a child and people like, go sit your black ass down.
Okay, notice how JT admits that she was brainwashed, and it's like, JT, who told you to sit your black ass down? What are their names? Because it sounds like it was your own family members. Also, what does your childhood have to do with random light-skinned women today? She's like, I was brainwashed because one time, 30 years ago, somebody said, sit my black A down. A person making one comment, that's not brainwashing. Also, if you're brainwashed into being a colorist, by the way, she's basically admitting that she herself is a colorist. I don't know why nobody caught that. If you're admitting that all it takes is one comment for you to be brainwashed into being a colorist, then you're not very smart.
Like, you in the sun too long. You look too dark. You look too... we was getting brainwashed.
And once again, notice how instead of her calling out by name the actual people who said, you've been in the sun too long, she doesn't call them out. She decides to just randomly talk about light-skinned people 30 years later. And it's like, ma'am, once again, who told you that you were staying in the sun for too long? What race were they? Were they white people that were telling you that? Or was this your own dark-skinned black mother, father, sisters, or family members? And if so, why have you not confronted them? Why are you randomly trauma dumping on an interview when you literally could be promoting music? When's the last album that we've heard of from JT? Like, what new music does she have coming out right now?
We was getting brainwashed.
Do you see how she's using sensationalized words to invoke a reaction in the audience? She's saying, a person saying stay out of the sun 30 years ago, that's brainwashing. Okay, I just had to pause it while I was editing so I could look up how many times you have to repeat something in order for brainwashing to occur, and according to the National Institutes of Health, it actually takes 400 repetitions to fully wire a new behavior or belief into the brain. So, JT only named maybe 2 to 3 examples. So by definition, that is actually not brainwashing. JT is using anecdotal evidence to generalize light-skinned women. And she's calling it brainwashing, which is false. So unless JT comes out and admits that she has been dealing with colorism at least 400 times repeatedly, then it doesn't count as brainwashing according to the National Institute of Health.
We was getting brainwashed.
And who are these colorist brainwashing masterminds who basically MK Ultra'd you into low self-esteem? Do you see that external locus of control? Oh, well, so-and-so from Mississippi back in 2001, she told me to stay out of the sun, so that's brainwashing. I was brainwashed. It's a lack of accountability. They don't want to admit that they themselves became internalized colorists. They were colorist against themselves or colorist against other dark-skinned people. So instead of actually admitting that, which JT is basically doing, she doesn't realize she's exposing herself. But instead of admitting that, they would rather blame random invisible light-skinned people. Why is there like an invisible light-skinned colorist living in their heads?
This whole like dark beauty thing, it's very new. It's new.
Okay, pause. Let's repeat what she just said. This whole dark beauty thing is new. No, JT, it's new to you because you and the interviewer clearly have not seen how humans have celebrated dark-skinned women for thousands of years. So do you see how monocultural and ignorant both of these women sound? Oh, well, dark-skinned women's beauty being recognized, that just started. No, that's actually false. There have been dark-skinned women celebrated all over the world, both in the United States and in other countries. They've been doing modeling. They've been fucking kings and queens. They've been celebrated for... They've had actresses before and singers and all kinds of people who have had their beauty being celebrated. What she's not admitting is she feels like dark-skinned black women have not been centered. So there's a difference between not being celebrated and not being centered. So just because someone doesn't center you in the media. Just because someone doesn't center their lives around African features and stuff, that doesn't mean that you're not celebrated. So what they're really saying is we want everything to be more Afrocentric, and that's unrealistic. Why would you expect people who are not black to be Afrocentric?
Like it's very new because growing up in the South with the sun, men think that light skinned women are a prize.
So now she blames the sun on light skinned women being a prize. So because she grew up in the South and there's a lot of sunshine, apparently if you're able to still be light skinned in a sunny climate, you're going to be treated as a prize. Do you see how she's a fucking expert? Oh my God. I mean, she's been watching the dating lives of light skinned women for decades. She's over here memorizing their skin tones in sunny climates and saying, oh, well, they're a prize. Well, how would you know, ma'am, unless you're basically spying on light-skinned women and you're spying on their dating experiences? So now she unknowingly admitted that she's been a monitoring spirit then against light-skinned women. Oh, well, living in the South, because of the sun, if you're light-skinned, then you're a prize. Well, why are you focusing on other random men who don't want you? Why are you focused on women who don't even have your phenotype? Why do you care what they do with their bodies or who's celebrating them as a prize?
Like it's very new because growing up in the South with the sun, men think that light skinned women are a prize. They think that, like, I'm saying it, the ugliest men in Florida, if they have some money, they're gonna go buy them a light skinned girl.
So now light-skinned women attract ugly men. Also, JT, if these men are ugly, then why are you tracking what these men do with their dicks? If these men are so ugly, these men in Florida, they're ugly, but you're complaining about light-skinned women being treated as a prize, and then you admitted that light-skinned women attract men with money. I thought that, according to Blackistan, light-skinned women only attract Dusty. So which one is it, JT? Because now you're admitting that not only have you been a monitoring spirit for decades, but you're also memorizing the socioeconomic statuses of the types of men that light-skinned women are dating. But then you're trying to cope by saying, oh, well, all these men in Florida are ugly. I'm sorry, JT, who made you the master and the queen of deciding who's beautiful and handsome or not? Has anybody else noticed that? In the unambiguous dark-skinned black community, they love acting like an expert when it comes to image consulting. Why are they always the experts on other people's image? Oh, well, this person's not cute. Well, that person's mediocre. Well, all these ugly men in Florida, that's all the light-skinned women can attract. These men are ugly. They love calling other people ugly. They love saying other people are mediocre. But if you were to call a dark-skinned black woman ugly, or say, oh, dark-skinned ugly black women like white men, if you were to say something like that, you'd be instantly labeled as a colorist.
The ugliest men in Florida, if they have some money, they're gonna go buy them a light-skinned girl.
Oh, and also notice how she said they're gonna buy them a light-skinned girl. So once again, light-skinned women are usually the standard of hypergamy, the standard of dating, and the standard of sugar babying. And that's part of why we see the MLS whore stereotype. Oh, well, light-skinned women are for sale. So, if he's ugly and he's got some money, he's going to buy a light-skinned person. Do you see how she dehumanizes light-skinned women? Oh, light-skinned women are just for sale. Light-skinned women are just these objects that are just placed on a pedestal, placed on the shelf, waiting for some ugly man from Florida to purchase them. Meanwhile, listen to JT and the City Girls music. I mean, some of JT's own lyrics talk about wanting to F with rich ends and, wanting to have their money or whatever. So this actually sounds like projection and almost like a sense of jealousy in a way, because if you listen to JT's own lyrics, she says that she wants to do that herself.
It started with the men, brainwashing the women. And it also started at home, telling your kids, like, stay out of that sun.
Okay, so she admits that she believes it starts with the men. She believes that colorism came from men, which I agree with. So why is decentering men not an option? Why is JT still making lyrics about how she's attracted to scamming black men? That's literally a part of her songs. So why is the solution never decentering men? And also, she said it starts with the parents telling their kids stay out of the sun. So why is JT not having a conversation with her own mother and family members? Why is she on an interview randomly dragging light-skinned women into it? You see what I mean? It's people who are taking out their internalized anger at other dark-skinned people. They're taking that out on random light-skinned people that they don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna start a lot of shit when I say this, but fuck it. Men down in Florida, they could be black as my shirt and they want a light skinned girl.
Okay, so now she's admitting that whatever your skin complexion is, you have to date within your complexion. So if you're dark, you're only allowed to like dark skinned people. But if you see a light skinned couple, you'll have dark skinned black people saying that they look like siblings, they look like brother and sister, or you even heard the black community calling the Creole community colorist. They call light-skinned people who date each other colorists, and they say that they just want to have light-skinned babies and they don't go together well. But now, here you have JT from the City Girls admitting that, oh, if you're dark-skinned and black, you're only allowed to date women who are dark-skinned and black. And it's like, JT, you just said that men who are ugly from Florida are the ones who like the light-skinned women. So why are you fighting over men that you just called ugly? You just said only the ugly men like the light-skinned women, right? So now, why are you then backtracking and saying, oh, well, there are men who are as black as my shirt and they only like women who are light-skinned? Like, it's not fair that they like light-skinned girls. But JT, I thought you weren't even attracted to them because they're ugly, right?
Men down in Florida, they could be black as my shirt and they want a light-skinned girl. They want light-skinned women. Like, even in the raps, they used to say that.
Why are women getting their self-esteem from rap music? I mean, tell me you come from a dysfunctional family without telling me you come from a dysfunctional family. If you're looking to a rap song to be your therapist and to build your self-esteem and your self-concept, you have zero self-esteem. And you come from a terrible family, if that's the case. So instead of, once again, dealing with your own family who didn't care about building your self-esteem, instead of cutting them off or getting some therapy, no, you want to blame the entire rap industry, which you're now a part of, JT. You blame the rap industry for being colorist, and now you join the very same industry that you are calling colorist.
Like, even in the raps, they used to say that. And I was even brainwashed. Even when you a child and people like, go sit your black ass down. Like, you in the sun too long. You look too dark. You look too, we was getting brainwashed. This whole, like, dark beauty thing, it's very,
it's
like,
new.
It's new. Like, it's very new. Because growing up in the South with the sun, men think that light-skinned women are a prize. They think that, like, I'm saying it, that the ugliest men in Florida, if they have some money, they're going to go buy them a light-skinned girl. They're going to be like, oh, okay, da-da-da.
But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.